Online muna to. Sabihan nyo lang po ako kung next na po.
Next na po.
Ma'am, pakitaas po, ma'am.
Shh! Gawing exam niyo, Jay? Ga-review ka? Ha? Nakasagot na po ba lahat? Hello po, naririnig niyo po ako?
Gusto po, ma'am.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Tapos na po?
Yes po.
Ma'am Ana? Tapos na po sila sumagot.
Okay, so I'll start. I'll start. Naririnig ka no?
Yes, ma'am.
Volume. Sandali lang. Okay. So we go to question number 1. Please read Jen.
What is the primary objective of the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? Ang sagot po nila, ma'am, letter B.
Okay, to address the most pressing global challenges while promoting prosperity, social inclusion, and environmental sustainability. The primary objective of the SDGs is to address global challenges such as poverty, hunger, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation while promoting prosperity, social inclusion, and environmental sustainability. So option B aligns with the core principles and the goals of the SDGs. For the incorrect answers, of course, option A, promoting economic growth at all costs, contradicts the balanced approach of the SDGs. So please listen carefully with all my explanations for the incorrect answers, because you will also encounter these phrases or these concepts like growth at all costs. So you will encounter this later when we start discussing on the UN decades of development. So option A is promoting economic growth at all costs contradicts the balanced
Yay.
approach of the SDGs,
Yay.
which prioritize sustainability and social inclusion
Teka lang.
alongside economic growth. So,
Ah.
option C, the SDGs aim to benefit all countries, both developed and developing,
Melon
by
ice.
fostering local cooperation and addressing common challenges. So option C is incorrect. So option D, military spending is not a primary objective of the
lalaro.
SDGs and is not directly related to the goals of sustainable development.
Saan mo nakita?
Option E, exploiting natural resources for short-term gains goes against the principles of sustainability and environmental protection promoted by the SDGs. So we can eliminate answers that are clearly contrary to the principles of sustainable development, such as options A, D, and E to narrow down your choices. So second question.
Second question. Which of the following is not one of the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? Ang sagot po nila ma'am apat. Letter B, C, D, and E.
Okay. So answer is because it is asking not. Okay, which of the following is not one of the Sustainable Development Goals? So the correct answer is letter C. So if you see how connected number 2 with number 1. If you have answered differently in number 1, and then it will carry through to the question 2. So economic growth at all costs is not a sustainable development goal. So letter C, while economic growth is important, the SDGs advocate for inclusive and sustainable economic growth that considers social and environmental dimensions. Options A, B, D, and E are indeed SDGs aimed at achieving gender equality, quality education, climate action, and zero hunger, respectively. So, options A, B, D, and E, these are all valid Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs aimed at addressing specific global challenges related to gender equality, education, climate change, and hunger. So look for the option that does not align with the principles of sustainable development, such as promoting economic growth at all costs. So it's not just economic growth, but it says at all costs. So please, please be guard. Please always be very wary, or you need to be always thinking critically with the phrases that are being asked, so to identify the correct answer. So number 3.
Number 3. Which Sustainable Development Goal or SDG focuses on ensuring access to clean water and sanitation for all? Ang sagot po nila ma'am tatlo, letter A, C, and E.
Again please, letters
Letter A, C, C, C and E.
Okay, but the correct answer is letter A, SDG 6. SDG 6 aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. It addresses issues related to access to clean water, sanitation facilities, hygiene promotion, and water resource management. So, options B, C, D, and E, these SDGs focus on other areas such as health, reduce inequalities, life on land and industry, innovation, and infrastructure, respectively. So, remember key details about each SDG to match the goals with their respective focus areas. So, let's proceed to question 4.
Question 4. Which of the following is a key principle underlying the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? Ang sagot po nila ma'am letter D, Delta.
Okay. Did they get it correctly? The correct answer is letter D, interconnectedness of global challenges. The SDGs recognize that global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation are interconnected and require integrated and collaborative solutions. Understanding the interrelated nature of these challenges is fundamental to achieving sustainable development. For the incorrect answers, options A, B, C, and E, these are not key principles of the SDGs and may even hinder progress towards sustainable development. So we focus on identifying the answer choice that aligns with the core principles of the SDGs, such as recognizing the interconnectedness of global challenges. We are now on question 5.
Question number 5. Which of the following is not one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? Dalawa po yung sagot nila, ma'am. Letter B and C.
So, the correct answer is letter C. Okay? While urbanization is a significant global phenomenon, it is not one of the 17 specific SDGs outlined by the United Nations. The SDGs focus on areas such as poverty, health, education, gender equality, climate action, and sustainable consumption. So the answer is letter C. Okay, we proceed to the next.
Question number 6. Which Sustainable Development Goal or SDG aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all? Ang sagot po nila, ma'am, dalawa, letter B and C.
Okay. So that's number.
6 po.
Okay, so for 6, okay, letter 6. The answer is letter B. SDG 8. Okay. So for SDG 8, okay, SDG 8 aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. It addresses issues such as unemployment, underemployment, informal employment, and labor rights. Economic growth is essential for poverty reduction and improving living standards, but it must be inclusive and sustainable to ensure that benefits are shared equitably and that environmental resources are not depleted. So consider the specific focus areas of each SDG to identify the one that addresses economic growth, employment, and decent work. So look for answers that align with the goals and principles of sustainable development. Proceed with question 7.
Question number 7. Which Sustainable Development Goal or SDG focuses on combating climate change and its impacts? Ang sagot po nila, ma'am, tatlo. Letter B, C, and D.
So, ano yung choice na SDG 13 yung answer? Letter
Letter D.
D. Okay, SDG 13 is the answer. SDG 13 focuses on taking urgent actions to combat climate change and its impacts. It calls for strengthening resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disasters. So, climate change poses significant risk to human health, ecosystems, and economies, making it imperative to address mitigation and adaptation measures at the global, national, and local level. So, we recall the specific focus areas of each SDG to identify the one that addresses climate change and its impacts. So for that's number 8, di ba? So, for
Number-
number 8,
Number 7 po yun, ma'am.
ay, number 7.
Yes po.
Okay. Oo, yeah. SDG 13 anyway is the correct answer sa letter D. For the incorrect answers, options A, B, C, and E, these SDGs focus on other areas such as clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, industry innovation, and infrastructure, and life on land, respectively. So we proceed to the next.
Question number 8. Which Sustainable Development Goal or SDG focuses on ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all? Ang sagot po nila, ma'am, tatlo. Letter C, letter D, and E.
Okay, the correct answer is the SDG 7 because SDG 7 aims to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. It calls for expanding access to electricity and clean cooking fuels, increasing the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix, and improving energy efficiency. For the incorrect answers A, B, D, and E, these SDGs focus on other areas such as good health and well-being, gender equality, reduce inequalities, and responsible consumption and production, respectively. Remember key details about each SDG to match the goals with their respective focus areas. We proceed with question 9.
Question number 9. Which of the following is a core principle underlying the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? Ang sagot po nila, ma'am, dalawa. Letter B and E.
Oh, okay. Those who answered not letter E, please, I advise you to read more on SDG. May lumabas noong 2023 and prior years. Even before 2015, because SDG is 2015 to 2030. Millennium Development Goals before this SDG, it's 2000 to 2015. Every year yan, may tinatanong on this because this is the universal, this is the global and universal framework for development. So if you still don't know, if you're not familiar with the core principle, which is leaving no one behind, we have a problem. Okay? Because leaving no one behind is a core principle of the SDGs, emphasizing the importance of ensuring the progress towards sustainable development is inclusive and equitable, and that the most vulnerable and marginalized groups are not left behind. We always listen to webinars and all this face-to-face meetings, conferences, conventions, leaving no one behind. Okay, that's the core principle. We should not forget this. So incorrect answers, options A, B, C, and D. These are not core principles of the SDGs and may even hinder progress towards sustainable development. Please keep reading on SDGs. We focus on identifying the answer choice that aligns with the core principles of the SDGs. We go to the last item.
Question number 10. Which of the following is not one of the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs related to environmental sustainability? Tatlo po yung sagot nila, ma'am. Letter B, C, and E.
Okay, the correct answer is SDG 8, which is letter E, decent work and economic growth. SDG 8 focuses on promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. It is not directly related to environmental sustainability. You see, not. Okay, please, we get used to to questions like this. Yung meron siyang not. Kasi madaming questions that they follow this type of structure. Which of the following is not? Okay, so the incorrect answers options A, B, C, and D, these SDGs are directly related to environmental sustainability and address issues such as clean water, sustainable cities, life below water, and life on land, respectively. So we keep looking for options that does not align because that's the one that the question is asking. So are we okay now? So we proceed to the next one. Yeah, may I ask you, nakapasa ba tayo means 6 up to 10?
70% rin, ma'am.
Great, great. Congratulations. So we keep reading, lalo na pag makinig tayo tonight, okay? Because all the questions here are related to the lecture. I only provided or I only prepared a one-pager, but it contains all these decades of development. We proceed. Please share it to the screen, Jen, the one-pager.
Okay po.
Yeah,
Stop share ko lang po muna saglit, ma'am.
right, okay. Okay.
Nakikita niyo po ba?
Lakihin mo kaya? Or yung arrow ba ng pan? Yung arrow
po.
PDF? Okay, yung malaki. Alright. So, we are now on theories. Okay, just let me see. Ano yung nasa Canva ko? What is that? I prepared. Okay, development theory. Okay, development theory covers the different UN decades of development. So what I'm trying to say is United Nations decades of development. Okay, so the United Nations decades of development refer to specific periods of time. So you can see the roadmap there per decade, right? During which the United Nations focuses on addressing critical global development challenges and advancing progress towards sustainable development goals. So these decades typically emphasize particular thematic areas and encourage international cooperation, policy formulation, and implementation of strategies to address pressing issues facing humanity. So the concept of UN decades of development originated from the recognition that certain global challenges require concerted and sustained efforts from the international community to achieve meaningful progress. Each decade is characterized by a set of objectives, targets, and action plans tailored to the specific theme under consideration. So you can see, for example, 1960 to 1970. So that's the one decade period of time that during which the UN focuses on, they were addressing critical global development challenges during that time. And then the next is the framework. So you can see 1960 to 70. You can see the framework there. Okay, and then yung maliliit na letra, it's all about the schools of thought that have been referred to for the specific framework. So in recent years, the UN has launched decades of development focus on critical issues such as sustainable development, gender equality, climate action, and biodiversity conservation. So these initiatives aim to galvanize political will, mobilize resources, and foster collaboration among governments, civil society organizations, the private sector, and other stakeholders to address complex and interconnected challenges facing the world today. So, of course, those key features of UN decades of development include multi-sectoral approach. They also use partnerships and collaboration. They also use monitoring and evaluation. So They also use capacity building and knowledge sharing, and they also use policy advocacy. So these are the things, that UN Decades of Development play a critical role for in shaping global development agenda, catalyzing action, and fostering collaboration to address the world's most pressing challenges. So from 1960 to 1970, you are encountering that particular framework which we call the growth at all costs. So it is an era actually. What you see there, for each decade, there's an era in the lens of the United Nations. So that particular 1960 to 1970 reflected a prevailing mindset of prioritizing economic growth above all else, even at the expense of environmental and social considerations. So that's what it meant. During this period, the prevailing philosophy was often summarized as grow first, clean up later. So you see, as we go through the SDGs, right? So it kind of reversed the framework. So the primary focus of development efforts during the 1960s was on accelerating economic growth and industrialization, particularly in the developing world. Many countries, especially those newly independent from colonial rule, pursued policies aimed at rapidly expanding their industrial sectors, modernizing infrastructure, and increasing productivity to improve living standards and reduce poverty. So the emphasis on economic growth was seen as essential for achieving broader development goals such as reducing employment, raising incomes, and improving access to education and healthcare. So governments and international development agencies prioritize investments in key sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture, and infrastructure to stimulate economic growth and promote industrialization. However, the grow first, clean up later approach. So that's an approach that you're seeing there, which is still part of the framework, also led to unintended consequences, including environmental degradation, pollution, and resource depletion. So as countries pursued rapid industrialization and urbanization, they often neglected environmental protection measures and regulatory frameworks to safeguard natural resources and mitigate pollution. So the focus on economic growth at the expense of environmental and social considerations contributed to a range of environmental challenges, including air and water pollution, deforestation, what else? Social degradation, and loss of biodiversity. These issues not only threaten ecosystems and public health, but also undermine the long-term sustainability of development efforts. So you see, there are shortcomings of that particular framework. So probably sila din yung may kasalanan, di ba? United Nations, that's kidding aside. So we need to study and we need to do evaluation to make sure all those different decades, those theories or those recommendations or framework that provided to the whole world, uh, did it did we reach SDG if hindi sana ito? What if SDG na noon pa, di ba? So, the focus, the shortcomings of the growth at all costs approach became increasingly apparent as the decade progressed. Environmental disasters such as industrial accidents, oil spills, highlighted the need for greater environmental awareness and regulation. So, concerns about the social and economic impacts of unchecked growth also prompted calls for more sustainable and inclusive development models. So, in response to these challenges, the United Nations and other international organizations began to advocate for a more balanced approach to development that integrated economic, social, and environmental objectives. So, the concept of sustainable development emerged as a guiding principle, emphasizing the need to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So the experience of the 1960s underscored the importance of considering environmental and social factors alongside economic growth in development planning and policy making. It laid the groundwork for subsequent decades of development focused on achieving sustainable and inclusive development outcomes that prioritize people and planet alongside economic prosperity. So, that's the overarching theme of the UN development from 1960 to 70. Okay, again, I would like to repeat, it was characterized by the pursuit of economic growth as the primary driver of development. Uh, yeah, and then the supporting schools of thought, I would like to just mention first, you can see modernization, right? Modernization theory. This school of thought posited that economic development could be achieved through the adoption of Western style industrialization and modernization processes. It emphasized the importance of technological advancement, urbanization, and economic growth as pathways to progress. During the 1960s, many developing countries embraced modernization theory as a guiding framework for their development strategies, seeking to emulate the economic successes of Western industrialized nations. Baka tanungin ito during the exam that which supporting schools of thought are were the where the growth of where the 1960 to 1970 framework had been based on. So because we have modernization theory there, we also have growth pole and trickle down. I will be explaining this when we reach that particular part on theories, regional theories, spatial theories, napakadaming theories sa board exam. So the growth pole theory there, which is the second supporting school of thought, we are still in number 1 eh. Nandun pa lang tayo sa era ng 1960 to 1970. The growth pole theory, rooted in neoclassical economics, suggested that economic development could be stimulated by concentrating investments and infrastructure development in specific geographic areas of growth poles. Later, mas maiintindihan natin what are these growth poles anyway. So the theory posited that growth and prosperity would radiate outward from this focal point. So from the focal point, which is the center, now known as the Central Business District, if we are talking about, if we contextualize it from land use planning or overall development planning, is from the center toward outside to the periphery. That's what we call the growth poles. It's investment in specific geographic areas are concentrated at the center. So the theory posited that growth and prosperity would radiate outward. So from these focal points, dito manggagaling sa center, benefiting surrounding regions through a process known as trickle-down economics. So from the center, when you are bringing it outside through the centralization, that's what you call trickle-down economics. Please don't forget, these terminologies are being asked every time in the board exam. However, critics argued that the benefits of growth pole strategies often failed to reach marginalized communities and peripheral regions, exacerbating inequalities and spatial disparities. Spatial, S-P-A-T-I-A-L.
Hindi
Okay,
nagkagamit.
space.
Inikit ko na.
So,
Hiniin ko na sa kanya.
the third and the
Hindi na.
last school of thought under 1960 to 1970 is neoclassical economics, which dominated mainstream economic thought during the 1960s. It emphasized the efficiency of markets and the importance of maximizing economic growth through free market policies and minimal government intervention. So remember, the characteristics is free market policies, but minimal government intervention. This ideology influence development policies that prioritize deregulation, privatization, trade liberalization as means of fostering economic growth and development. However, the uncritical application of neoclassical principles often overlook the social and environmental costs associated with rapid economic expansion. So please remember 1, 2, 3, the modernization theory, the growth pole and trickle down, and then the neoclassical. So please don't forget about all these things. We advance to the 1970 to 1980. Growth with equity and variance. So growth with equity. So yung isa, growth at all costs, we are now advancing. So of course, it will always improve progressively. Growth with equity was characterized by a shift towards more inclusive and equitable development paradigms. The overarching theme of growth with equity emphasized the importance of not only achieving economic growth, but also ensuring that its benefits were shared more equitably among different segments of society. So nadagdag yung the word equity. This period saw the emergence of various approaches and strategies aimed at promoting social justice, reducing inequalities, and empowering marginalized communities. So, but it has variance. They included the word variance there because it did not only follow a one model under growth with equity, but it has also variance. Growth with distribution. Redistribution. Sorry. So growth with redistribution. This variant focus. So I'm talking about the variance because it included the second framework as growth with equity and variance. And this variance should mean number one, growth with redistribution, because this variant focused on redistributing wealth and resources to address social economic disparities and promote greater social equity. Policies such as progressive taxation, land reforms, and social welfare programs were implemented to reduce inequality and improve access to basic services and opportunities for disadvantaged groups. Growth with participation is another variant. So redistribution, participation. This variant emphasizes the importance of active participation and empowerment of local communities in the development process. It sought to decentralize decision-making authority, promote grassroots democracy, and foster community-led development initiatives that reflected local priorities and aspirations. There's another variant which we call social transformation. Ang dami, ano? This variant, that's why I only have one page, but it contains many discussions on this. This variant advocated for broader societal transformations aimed at challenging entrenched power structures, addressing systemic injustices, and promoting human rights and social freedom. So this is all about social justice. This is all about human rights before. Ito yung focus nila. It called for comprehensive reforms in political, economic, and social institutions to create more inclusive and democratic societies. So the last variant is integrated area development. Please remember this terminology because you will encounter this again in theory. Integrated area development is an approach focused on promoting balance and sustainable development within specific geographic areas or regions. It emphasizes integrated planning, coordination of development activities, and investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and livelihood opportunities to foster holistic and inclusive growth. So, ang dami ng variance pa lang yun. We're not yet in the supporting school of thought. because the supporting schools of thought are references by the United Nations. Number one for this decade, 1970 to 80, which is growth with equity. Growth at all costs, 1960 to 1970, right? So we are still in the second decade, the UN decade of development. We have the first supporting school of thought, which is neo-Marxist dependency theories. These theories, influenced by, Marxist principles, critique the unequal power relations and economic dependencies between developed and developing countries. Still, buhay na buhay pa itong theory na ito. Right? Because they argued that underdevelopment in the global south was a consequence of historical colonial exploitation, unequal trade relations, and the perpetuation of dependency on foreign capital and technology. There's another supporting school of thought which you can see on that particular slide, world systems theory. Maybe the first time you heard about this one, but this was developed by sociologist Immanuel Wallerstein. World systems theory conceptualized the global economy as a complex system characterized by core, semi-peripheral, and peripheral regions. You know, these terminologies later, you would encounter this. So, yung pagtsatsagaan natin ito because pag paulit-ulit natin na naririnig, and then we continue to discuss about this one until it becomes loose, because this can become a tight concepts yet for you because we are just starting, we are still in the foundational principles. So we just need to do this. So kailangan kasi when taking the board exams, like, you don't need to memorize, you just need to understand. When understanding, kahit balik-balik na rin ang question, you will still be able to remember them and answer correctly. So, ito, this world systems theory, it highlighted, sinabi ko kanina that this was developed by Immanuel Wallerstein, but this theory was conceptualize the global economy as what? Can you imagine the global economy as a complex system characterized by core? Diba yung core? It could be a node, it could be a dot, it could be in the perspective of urban planning. Core is at the center, it could be a plaza. Depends on how you would like to remember these terminologies. And then, even in transportation, you would normally hear core, or especially in the overall urban planning concepts, semi-peripheral, right? And peripheral regions. So regional planning, you will encounter this terminology. Please don't get tired listening about this one. It highlighted the role of capitalism, imperialism, and globalization in perpetuating uneven development and disparities between the core industrialized nations and the periphery of less developed countries. Okay, so we are not just talking about periphery within a city, but we are talking about the role of regions in the global context, the core as the industrialized nations, and the periphery of less developed countries like Philippines, right? So you must be very fortunate to be hearing this in the perspective of in this lens of UN development theory, because it's not every day that you hear about this one. So at least na alam na ninyo na yung world systems theory, it talk about core, semi-periphery, things like that, and then peripheral regions. So at least later, you will not forget them as part of the world systems theory. Neo-populist movements emerge in, and this is the third school of thought under 1970 to 80. Neo-populist movements emerge in response to growing social discontent. So this is about injustices, about social justice. So the growing social discontent and disenchantment with traditional political elites and institutions. So they mobilize popular support around populist agenda that promise to challenge entrenched interests, promote social justice, and empower marginalized groups through grassroots mobilization and political activism. So 1970 to 80. And the last school of thought under 1970 to 80 is theories of ay naalala ko, before I proceed to the next school of thought, I think I mentioned about uneven development in the world systems theory. Please remember this again, uneven development. So there was a theorist who mentioned about this one, uneven development. And I hope you will embrace all these terminologies para mas maintindihan natin yung theory, because it's a very difficult subject matter to be discussing about people who already died and who lived before Christ and who live in the 1800s, 1900s, but we need to know them. Kailangan makilala natin silang lahat. So I now proceed to the fourth school of thought. Sorry for that interruption, or I just needed to go back. That you please remember again uneven development next time. So theories of alternative development and another development. Okay, that you can see that in that slide. These theories challenged conventional development paradigms and offered alternative visions of development that prioritize social, environmental, and cultural dimensions over narrow economic growth. So it kind of improved the first one, the growth at all costs, by putting additional layers of, dimensions. So they called for holistic, people-centered approaches. So I'd like to use this, even if this terminologies are located within 1970 to 80. I would like to use this, for example, in a title in my research, in my articles. So I can use people-centered. Please use as well. Okay? Buhay na buhay pa ito. They called for holistic, people-centered approaches that recognize the diversity of human experiences and emphasize the importance of local knowledge, cultural identities, and environmental sustainability in shaping development pathways. So 1970 to 80, it witnessed a significant evolution in development thinking and practice, marked by a growing emphasis of promoting inclusive growth and social justice and participatory development process. So we go to the next one, which is 19. Okay. But of course, later, sabihin ko na rin yung mga examples later, that there's what we call in the 1960s, the Green Revolution. I'm not sure if some of you here encountered Green Revolution. Diba? Yung Green Revolution kasi initiated in the 1960s din yun. Introduced high-yield crop varieties, and then there was modern agricultural techniques. So those PPAs in government in Philippines, they are based from the international conventions, international, frameworks like this. So now 1970 also, the land reform also in Latin America and then also in Philippines. But of course, it started in Latin America because there's everything about social justice and all this, taking care of the marginalized community, means that several countries had followed on that particular framework. So meron din yung mga community development projects in the 1970s that we witnessed a surge in community development initiatives. So like, for example, the ILG also had that bottom up, etc. But of course, it continued. It was not located in this 1970 to 80, but parang delayed reaction on the Philippines. So I'm not sure, please don't quote me, but delayed reaction in the sense if we are looking in the lens of this UN development, theories or decades of development. So for 1980, we are now on the 1980 to 1990, which is the new, can you look at the 1980 to 1990? Right? So, new international economic order or structural adjustment. Please don't forget this one. New international economic order or structural adjustment. And there are some theories involved there. The neoliberal economics Reaganomics, and Thatcherism. Do you remember Margaret Thatcher? So it was named after her. Thatcherism, theories of globalization. So you see, the new international economic order, it was a concept. So it was a concept of the new international economic order, or the NEO, NIEO, para hindi kayo ma-confuse. NEO emerged in the 1970s as a response to the perceived inequalities and injustices in the global economic system. So it called for, and then it went through to, it advanced to 1980 to 1990. It called for restructuring of international economic relations to promote greater equity, sovereignty, and development opportunities for developing countries. So the NEO advocated for measures such as fairer terms of trade, the debt relief, DEBT, technology transfer, and increased development assistance to address the challenges of underdevelopment and dependency. So, what do we mean by the structural adjustment that you can see there as a sub framework? Structural adjustment programs were introduced by international financial institutions such as the World Bank and the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, in the 1980s as conditions for providing loans and financial assistance to indebted developing countries. So probably one of these countries is Philippines. So these programs aim to address macroeconomic imbalances, promote market-oriented reforms, and enhance economic efficiency through measures such as fiscal austerity, trade liberalization, privatization, and deregulation. So, however, these SAPs often resulted in social hardships, so economic dislocation and increased poverty. You see, it did not do any good, but it increased also poverty in some ways in many developing countries, sparking controversy and criticism. So, for the supporting school of thought, you can see neoliberal economics. What is this all about? It's known as market fundamentalism or free market capitalism emerged as a dominant economic ideology during the 1980s. It advocated for minimal government intervention in the economy, deregulation also. Diba ang Philippines, we did deregulation, we did privatization during the time of Cory Aquino, and free trade as mechanisms for promoting economic growth, efficiency, and innovation. So proponents of neoliberalism argued that market forces would allocate resources more efficiently and generate wealth, leading to overall prosperity and development. Reaganomics and Thatcherism, they are associated with the economic policies of U.S. President Ronald Reagan. Reagan, can you see? Can you see the from the concept I would like to say Reaganomics, because it was named after President Ronald Reagan. And Thatcherism, associated with British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, represented implementations of neoliberal economic principles in practice. So these policies emphasize tax cuts, deregulation, privatization of state-owned enterprises. So I hope you still remember what happened to Philippines. Even Philippine Airlines and water and power, they were all privatized. And these policies emphasize this one, and reductions also in social welfare spending as means of stimulating economic growth, fostering entrepreneurship, and curbing inflation. So the theories, so we are now in the last school of thought under 1980 to 90. Theories of globalization. The 1980s witnessed the emergence of theories of globalization, which emphasize the increasing interconnectedness and interdependence of economies, societies, and cultures on a global scale. Globalization was driven by technological advancements liberalization of trade and investment, and the proliferation of multinational corporations. You remember during this time, MNCs, multinational corporations, while globalization promised opportunities for economic integration, innovation, and cultural exchange, it also raised concerns about widening inequality, social dislocation, and loss of cultural identity. Later, you will encounter again cultural identity. So, okay, 1980 to 1990, it was marked by significant shifts in global. Remember, I think I lectured on some economic shifts. So, if you combine all these concepts, and later you will find it more, you will find it clearer as we progress in our review. Kaya kapag mag-absent kayo, it's your loss. Pero meron namang uh, recording, so you could as well listen again. You can just ask from Jen. So this was marked by significant shifts in global economic governance with the rise of the neoliberal economic policies and the imposition of structural adjustment programs in many developing countries. So this era was characterized by debates and struggles over the direction of economic development, the role of the state, and the impact of globalization on societies and economies worldwide. So, can you I hope you appreciate, even if I speak so fast, that this particular era, kahit yun lang yung matandaan ninyo, that this was characterized by debates. They have been debating, they have been struggling over the direction of economic development, even the role of state, and even the impact of globalization on societies and economies worldwide. So, okay, Reagan, Thatcher. So these are easy to memorize because they have been heads of state during this time. That their policy directions have been made as among the references for this particular UN development decade. So the experiences of the 1980s underscored the need for critical reflection on the impacts of economic policies and uh, globalization processes on human well-being, social justice, and environmental sustainability. Kaya yung questions kanina, yeah, that was prepared for you guys and for you to remember that while answering, medyo wala pa kayong walang idea. And then kapag you have already embraced all these different schools of thought, and probably when you take that exam again, 10 over 10 na kayo, right? So you see, we go to the next one, which is what? Saan na tayo? 1990 to 2000? Jen? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
po,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. By the way, before I proceed to 1990 to 2000, di ba? Ang layo pa. 2030. If you remember, during the time of Fidel Ramos, he branded Philippines as the tiger economy, di ba? Tiger economy. But this one, in this particular decade, before yung 1980 to 1990, there was already some examples of parang economic development, like Asian tigers, economic development. I'm not sure, but Asian tigers before were South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. But yeah, I did not read anything about Philippines. But of course, anong year ba na please remember anong year naging president si Fidel Ramos, di ba? So yeah, probably he just followed this one after South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. So okay, so we go now to 1990 to 2000, which is the sustainable development. We're not talking about SDG, all right? So, sustainable development only. So, what? Sustainable development, we witness a growing recognition of the need to integrate environment. So this is the first time na parang they concentrated on the integrating environmental, social, and economic considerations into development planning and policy making. Okay, it's not just development planning. Of course, it should be accompanied always by policy making, which is the law that should legislate whichever plan and strategies that a state or that a country should have. And then sustainable development emerge as a guiding principle, emphasizing the importance of meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Yan, paulit-ulit yan. You will not forget. You will always get the correct answer when it will be asked in the board exam, right? What is the meaning of sustainable development? So sustainable development seeks to balance economic growth, social equity, and environmental protection. So dalawa yon, economy, social, environmental protection to achieve long-term well-being and prosperity for all. So well-being, the health aspect, and prosperity is the economic aspect. So the schools of thought under this particular decade of development, ecology schools, the ecology movement. So it's kind of a movement rooted in scientific principles, and environmental conservation gained prominence during the 1990s as concerns about environmental degradation, pollution, and resource depletion intensified. So ecology schools of thought emphasize the interdependence and interconnectedness of living organisms and ecosystems, advocating for the protection of biodiversity, sustainable resource management, and ecosystem preservation. So ecologists called attention to the urgent need to address environmental challenges such as climate change, deforestation, habitat loss, and pollution through holistic and interdisciplinary approaches. So there's another supporting school of thought, which is the second one. Dalawa lang yung school of thought that we can discuss today, but this is I think it covers all about this decade. Environmental ethics. So that's a school of thought, means that environmental ethics explored the moral and philosophical dimensions of humanity's relationships with nature and the environment. So environmental ethicists, yung mga like environmentalist, ethicists, things like that. There's what we call environmental ethicists, examine questions of human responsibility, stewardship, and ethical considerations in environmental decision making and resource management. So they are good for ethical principles such as intergenerational equity. What is intergenerational equity? From the existing generation, the present generation to the next. So that's intergenerational equity. And then they argued also for environmental justice and respect for ecological integrity in shaping policies and practices related to environmental conservation and sustainable development. So this decade marked a pivotal period in the evolution of development thinking and practice, characterized by a growing emphasis on sustainability, environmental stewardship, and ethical considerations. It provided also for a framework for reconciling competing priorities and promoting integrated approaches to development that prioritize environment protection, social equity, and economic prosperity. So we go to the next one, which is the MDG. So I'm sure nadatnan ninyo din ito, the MDGs, because these are the theories of human capital and social capital. That MDG was marked by the adoption of the Millennium Development Goals, a set of 8 internationally agreed targets. So 8, okay, they will ask this question siguro. Kasi they will compare it, 17 SDGs, 8 MDGs. These are internationally agreed targets aimed at addressing key global challenges such as poverty, hunger. Okay, kailangan alam din ninyo, ano yung 8 na yon? Poverty, hunger, disease, gender inequality, education, environmental sustainability, and global partnership. So hindi nawawala yung global partnership because in the SDGs we have it's the number 17. So ako memorize ko yung SDG. Do you? Or do you not? So the MDGs provided a framework for mobilizing global efforts and resources towards achieving measurable improvements in human development outcomes by the target year of 2015. Kung ano yung year, like 2000 to 2015, so 15 years, so that's a long-term goal. And the last one, the target, it means that by 2015, during these MDGs, already all the goals, all those success indicators already fulfilled. But did we see a report on this? That if we, how much have been fulfilled, how much have been, completed? Okay. So we try to look for articles that ilan yung percentage, but kinontinue nila ng SDG eh. So ibig sabihin may madami hindi na-meet, right? So the supporting school of thought for MDG, you can see also in that one pager slide. So theories of human capital. What is this? Theories of human capital emphasize the role of education, health, skills, and knowledge as drivers of economic growth, productivity, and social development. So please try to, when you read again that particular slide, kailangan may natandaan kayo. Anyway, like what were those concerns? What were those priorities during this particular decade, right? So human capital theorists argued that investments in education and healthcare contribute to individual and societal well-being, enhance workforce productivity, and promote economic competitiveness. They advocated for policies and programs that prioritize human development, improve access to quality education and healthcare services, and empower individuals to reach their full potential. So the second school of thought there, you can see also theories of social capital. Okay, madali lang matandaan because human capital, social capital. For social capital, theories of social capital explored the role of social networks, relationships, and trust in fostering cooperation, collective action, and community resilience. So, social capital theories emphasize the importance of social cohesion, civic engagement, and mutual support networks in promoting social inclusion, poverty reduction, and sustainable development. They argued that strong social networks and institutions contribute to better governance, social welfare, and quality of life, enabling communities to address common challenges and seize opportunities for positive change. So we go to the last one, the decade. Ano kaya yung susunod after SDG, right? Can you imagine? Can you now predict the next? Kasi MDG, they changed letter M. They made it sustainable. So yeah, I'm just curious, what's the next one? What's the next framework after 230? Bale, yung next framework natin is 230 to 2045. 30. Okay, 2045. Buhay pa tayo kaya? During that time? Siguro, because you're still young, right? So, sustainable development goals is defined by the adoption of the SDGs as set of 17. Pag hindi natin makuha ito, we have a problem. Okay? Because it's very popular. This is a set of 17 interconnected and ambitious goals aimed at addressing the most pressing global challenges while promoting prosperity, social inclusion, and environmental sustainability. So the SDGs build upon the achievements and lessons learned from the MDGs. Imagine, we don't know how much was achieved from the MDG, but it took lessons. It came from this framework and provide a comprehensive framework for a sustainable development efforts at the local, national, and global levels. What are the schools of thought? I've been researching earlier because wala pang probably ilalaban ko yung na yan, that particular slide. You cannot find that elsewhere. I made that. That's original. So pinagtitigaan ko yan before facing you, before talking to you. So holistic approach to development. So holistic approach is one of the schools of thought for the SDGs. So the SDGs adopt a holistic and integrated approach to development, recognizing the interlinkages between economic, social, and environmental dimensions of sustainable development, they emphasize the need to balance economic growth with social equity and environmental protection to ensure the well-being of current and future generations. While sustainability, di ba, sustainable development, it spoke a lot about sustainable development, about this one, but still we are here, it's still talking about the well-being of current and future generations, right? The SDGs prioritize issues such as poverty eradication, gender equality, quality education, affordable healthcare, clean water and sanitation, climate action, and peace and justice, reflecting a broad and inclusive vision of development. The next school of thought, which I provided, there are only two, which I found out for the SDG, the systems thinking and complexity theory. Okay, so the first one, holistic approach to development. The second school of thought is the systems thinking and complexity theory. Systems thinking and complexity theory provide valuable insights into the complex and dynamic nature of sustainable development challenges. They highlight the interconnectedness and interdependence of systems and emphasize the importance of understanding feedback loops, nonlinear relationships, and emergent properties in shaping development outcomes. Systems approaches encourage stakeholders to adopt holistic and context-specific solutions that address underlying systemic drivers of poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. So, this is my favorite topic. In fact, I have I had this topic about brown bag. Some of you have attended this one, but I'm very particular about systems thinking. But I call it I call it I name it. I have my own branding about systems thinking. I named it as evaluative thinking or the strategic evaluative thinking. So I have also these acronyms that I coined it myself because I have a book coming out soon. So I hope you can check that out later. But magpapa-review muna ako sa inyo because I prioritize you guys. I know this is a very costly, but I make sure that you can capture everything here because if you will master this UN development decade, and then it could be easy to plan because you will remember all the different concepts that what were they thinking before and what were their bases before. Just imagine the Ronald Reagan and Thatcher. They were made, alam ba ninyo yun, that their policies were made as references, and so they branded it and according to their policies, and so their names were adopted. Thatcherism, just imagine that, diba? So kaya gusto nyo yung apelido ninyo, it will also be named after you. It's not impossible, right? It's possible. Galingan natin sa board exam, ha? So we can all this one. We can achieve all of this. So you have a good night. It's 10 p.m. So let's see, Jen, if you could thank you all. I hope you understood everything here. Hindi pa namin natatapos yung classroom because we're trying to fix everything because they are all large files anyway. Like for example, the recording for Zoom. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, video please. Okay, Jan, would you like to take their photos? Thank you guys. Tomorrow again, same time, but is it a Friday today or Thursday? I forgot. Friday?
Friday po.
Friday po.
Magkakaroon tayo ng mock exams tomorrow.
Anong oras, ma'am?
100 items.
Wow.
Yeah. Di mape-perfect na natin lahat, ano? So this is quite exciting, right?
Ma'am, anong oras po?
8:30 pa din.
Gabi po.
Pero siyempre, meron ding lecture yon. Kasi gusto ko, we develop a habit of, for you, I'm not sure if you are really looking forward to this. Kasi it's all for your good. Okay? So please, I'll take the photo now because I would like to see my
Okay,
students.
ready na po everyone. May mga hindi pa po naka-open. Mag-open na po kayo, mga sir, ma'am. Wow, ang ganda ni Ma'am Christine.
Hello,
Si Ma'am
everyone.
Daisy Jane.
Sunday may class pa rin tayo.
Sorry?
Sunday po may class pa rin tayo.
Oh, gusto ba niya? Siyempre meron, di ba? Pagtsagaan natin, ha? Oo, ano lang natin, kahit 1 hour lang. Kasi yung, originally, the concept is supposed to be 1 hour per day. Kaya lang, I'm so excited to have all of you here. So, ginagalingan ko, and then also, I also extend it. But later, kapag medyo relax na tayo, then we can have the habit na 1 hour, and then konting, sa Sunday, meron pa din, ha? Pag-exam din kayo ng Sunday, okay?
May mga hindi pa
As
po
promised.
naka-open.
Oo.
Okay na po ba? 1, 2, 3.
2 panels, right?
Isa pa po. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
And good evening.
Um,
Bye. Have a nice
Sir,
sleep. Yes.
wait lang po. May concern lang po. Sir Ali, pa-message naman po ako sa messenger, sir. Albenhar Ali po. Thank you
Yes,
po.
ma'am, sure.
Good night
Thank
po,
you.
everyone.
Good night. Night, everyone. Bye.